My name is Ernest M. Keeling. Welcome to this comment and poem on the genocide in Gaza by terror state Israel. Please refer to the description to this video for an expanded commentary. This genocide happens with infinite supplies of WMD from Genocide Joe, aided by sycophants Sunak and Starmer of the UK House of Commons. Zionist worshipper Olaf Scholz has sold his soul to the devil, the Zionist Frankenstein monster that stalks the Middle East, with arms exports opposing South Africa's genocide application to the ICJ, a stance condemned by Namibia that suffered genocide under German colonial rulers who killed more than 70,000 Herero and Nama people, 1904 to 1908. Berlin acknowledged the genocide in 2021. To date, 28 January 24, about 34,000 Palestinians, more than half women and children, have been slaughtered, including 8,000 buried under rubble. This cannot be justified by the spurious lie of self-defense, a pretext for mowing the grass. Killing women and children en masse indiscriminately is not self-defense. Nowhere else in the world would genocide of a people, its cultural heritage, be acceptable, but Israel acts with impunity with the support of the US, itself genocidal by nature. Amichai Eliyahu, government minister, said Israel could drop a nuclear bomb on Gaza, but they have already dropped several. According to Middle East Monitor, 65,000 tons of bombs were dropped on Gaza during the first 89 days, TNT equivalent of 4 little boy nuclear bombs dropped on Hiroshima, 15,000 tons. Occupied West Bank. Raids are daily with Nazi-style summary executions as in Gaza City, 19 December. War crimes, crimes against humanity, mass arrests without charge. At least 370 Palestinians killed by Israeli forces, fascist settlers since 7 October, at least 6,000 detained. SS Blinken has said the impact of war on civilians in Gaza is far too high, but didn't propose any halt in the supply of WMD. During an election address in South Carolina, Biden was interrupted by anti-war protesters chanting, "Ceasefire now." He lied in his senile, mumbling way that he had been quietly working with the Israeli government to get them to reduce and significantly get out of Gaza. "I'm using all that I can to do that, except stopping WMD shipments." Netanyahu, Biden, SS Blinken and John Kirby are the biggest liars and hypocrites in modern politics, defending the indefensible. Israel violates international law. Inter alia, the Genocide Convention adopted by the UN 9 December 1948, which defines genocide as acts committed with the intent to destroy in whole or in part a national, ethnic, racial or religious group. The Rome Statute, into force 1 July 2002, creating the ICC, which covers crime of genocide, crimes against humanity, war crimes, the crime of aggression. On 26 January 2024, the ICJ ordered Israel to prevent genocide in Gaza. But the slaughter goes on. The apartheid state, Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International and B'Tselem, Israeli Information Center for Human Rights in the occupied territories, have all produced major reports that concur Israel is an apartheid state. The Zionist state is anti-Semitic. Israel itself is the epitome of anti-Semitism and has hijacked Judaism to serve its hegemonic National Socialist agenda, its Lebensraum. Zionists decry all Jews in the diaspora who do not subscribe to their aims, like Miko Peled, Norman Finkelstein. YouTube videos show the brutal treatment by Israeli soldiers of anti-Zionist Orthodox Jews whose dignity stands in stark contrast to the bullying intimidation of their fascist tormentors, army of the rich and powerful. Organizations are growing in the US like JVP and the American Council for Judaism. The family of Orthodox Jews, Nachare Carter, rally under banners True Torah Jews and Free Palestine. Spokesperson Rabbi David Weiss, grandparents killed in Auschwitz, has said, "We hurt, we cry, we suffer, we pain with the people of Gaza beyond words what's happening to them. For us, it is a double Nakba. Also, that Zionists have caused endless rivers of blood, Jewish and Muslim, and hate that has developed around the world, that they are the personification of anti-Semitism. If you remove Zionism," he continues, "Jews and Muslims can live together." View his news appearances on YouTube. UK Rabbi Elhanan Beck. Israel is the most dangerous place for Jews. The 7th of October didn't start on the 7th of October. It started in 1948. It started by the Nakba for Palestinians. The state of Israel is a rebellion against God. A person who can justify genocide, a person who can commit genocide, I cannot count him as a Jew. People who justify genocide, they are more Nazis than Jews. Rabbi David Feldman at The Hague, 11 January, as South Africa brought its genocide case before the ICJ, spoke against over 75 years of brutal, illegal and anti-Jewish occupation. the two-state solution. This was killed off by Israel through colonialism, i.e. building 300 settlements in the West Bank with hundreds of roads, checkpoints, and occupied by 700,000 settlers. Also, Netanyahu says there will be no two states. So why do the US, UK, and EU leaders talk falsely about two states? The answer is compelling. They feed into the perception there exists in Palestine two nation states where war breaks out periodically and Israel is always given the right to self-defense. But since 1967, there has only been one de facto Israeli state in historical Palestine. So this self-defense is against its own captive, occupied and oppressed population. They don't want to be confronted with the conundrum of dealing with one military state, undemocratic, fascist and apartheid in character. Israel's fascist nature. Genocide in Gaza, military law in occupied West Bank, violations of international humanitarian law, collective punishments, Al-Aqsa Mosque violations, words, actions of ministers like Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir and Bezalel Smotrich, messianic settlers with no nexus to the land who rise to power to persecute Palestinians. Ben-Gvir has a criminal conviction for inciting racial hatred against Palestinians and is busy arming West Bank settlers. Smotrich has called for the wiping out of the Palestinian town of Huwara. I rest my case. The conflict in Palestine is not one of religion, but Zionism. No Zionism, no problem. But Western leaders don't want to talk about the real solution, bringing true democracy to Israel, Palestine. Copyright. This poem is titled Genocide Joe, Creepy Joe. The wound is hemophilic, not only reaper, but destroyer of worlds. Trinity drowns in innocent blood, vetoes again, meaning Gaza belongs with Sand Creek and My Lai. Massacre all the women and children. The harbingers of Enola Gay bypass Congress with avant-garde baby-busting WMD. Wrinkled visage, quivering lip, takes liberties in the space of girls. Commander-in-Chief ignores the world. My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. But observe the frail spastic gait, mouldering past his sell-by date, with senile symptoms, rambling incoherence, constantly falling flat on his face. Leader of the shabby free world, churns the blood sands of dystopia, exposing bones, innards, feces, little children pulled from the rubble in pieces. Smite Amalek, the Old Testament advice, man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and ass. SS Blinken lies, we're doing all we can. Fanatics of the Samson option think of dropping a nuclear bomb. Sausage grinder of the EU powerhouse, blood dripping his apron, sells his soul like compatriot Faust to Zionist Frankenstein of the Levant. Nazis clear the ghetto, mow the grass, chant Arbeit macht frei all the way to the Reichstag, while UK sycophants bomb another Arab nation. Sing a lullaby to the club of gentlemen. Thank you for listening, and God arrest America. Related poems. Stop the World, I Want to Get Off. Trial by Fire, Second al-Nakba, Gaza, October, November 2023. Spawn Genocide Joe and SS Blinken. Gaza, 5 August 2022. Mowing the Grass. Again, thank you for listening.